that is a mock-up of where you intend to go later with music.
So automatic, I haven't got a clue what I do or how it happens, but yeah, as you point out, I'm really quickly get.
You know that feeling, when a single note can stop the world. He never raises his voice. He never begs for attention. David Gilmour just plays, and the world leans in. For over 50 years, his guitar hasn't been about speed or power, it's been about emotion. Every bend, every pause, feels alive. He wasn't just part of Pink Floyd, he was its conscience. When the band drifted toward darkness, Gilmour gave it light. When it fell apart, he carried what was left. And when it all ended, he still had something to say. But behind those soaring solos and haunting echoes lie moments deeply personal, songs that carried his memories, his grief, and his truth. These are David Gilmour's 5 favorite Pink Floyd songs. The ones that never left him, even when everything else did. Number 1. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, the goodbye that never ended.
There's a look in your eyes, like black holes in the sky.
Some songs are tributes. This one is a tombstone and a resurrection. Shine On You Crazy Diamond wasn't meant to be a hit. It was a goodbye, written because the band couldn't move forward until they faced what they'd lost. That loss was Syd Barrett, the brilliant, fragile mind who started it all. Gilmour once said, "We were grieving, but we didn't talk about grief, so we played it." What emerged was 9 parts of pure emotion, every note a memory, every silence a wound. And then, the ghost appeared. The day they mixed the track, Syd walked into the studio. Overweight, eyebrows shaved, silent. No one recognized him at first. Roger Waters cried. Gilmour froze. He didn't seem to know the song was about him, Gilmour recalled quietly. The irony, he didn't have to. The music had already said everything. That solo, slow, aching, drenched in echo and restraint, wasn't about showing off. It was about saying goodbye without words. He wasn't playing for the crowd. He was playing for a friend who was already gone. Decades later, Gilmour still plays it the same way, not as performance, but as ritual. Each time, he begins those 4 notes, and holds them just long enough to make you feel what he still feels. Shine On isn't just a favorite, it's the song that still hurts to play. Number 2. Comfortably Numb, the perfect storm. There are guitar solos, and then there's Comfortably Numb. A moment caught by accident, that became legend. It came from chaos. Pink Floyd was breaking apart. Waters wrote the story. Cold, detached, theatrical. Gilmour wrote the feeling. Warm, fragile, alive. They argued over everything. Tempo, tone, arrangement. But when Gilmour played that solo, no one argued anymore. He recorded it in one take. No overdubs. No rehearsal. Just instinct. I knew the moment I played it, he said later. That was the one. I didn't want to touch it again. It isn't fast. It isn't technical. It just lands. Like a feather. That hits you like a stone. And the irony, it's a song about being numb, yet it bleeds emotion. Every bend is like someone trying to wake up from a dream. Gilmour once called it, the peak of our creative power. Because in that solo, there's no ego. No flash, only truth. Each time he performs it live, it changes, slightly. A little slower, a little softer. But never lifeless. He said, "It's the best solo I've ever done." The notes are right, and they're in the right order. Simple words, but only someone like Gilmour could mean them. Comfortably Numb isn't just a highlight of the wall. It's the moment he became timeless, a genre of one. Number 3. Echoes, the sound of becoming. Before the lasers, before the stadiums, before fame swallowed everything, there was Echoes. 23 minutes, no chorus, no radio hope, just a journey, inward. For Gilmour, Echoes wasn't a song. It was a signal, proof that Pink Floyd could build something eternal from silence. He once said, "That was when we found ourselves. We stopped mimicking others and became us." The track begins with a single ping, a sound like the ocean calling. Through that strange, hypnotic rhythm, his guitar becomes a voice. Howling, whispering, answering its own questions. It's not about melody. It's about atmosphere, patience, trust. A conversation between four people who finally stopped competing and started listening. When they filmed it at the empty amphitheater in Pompeii, no audience, just stone and echo, it became something spiritual. It felt like we were playing for ghosts, Gilmour remembered. Echoes gave him space to breathe, and to believe. No producer, no pressure, just a feeling that if they followed it long enough, they'd discover who they were. That's why Gilmour still calls it one of his proudest works. Not because it was perfect, but because it was honest. A band in sync, a guitarist in control, and a sound that still ripples through time. Number 4. High Hopes, The Farewell.
Beyond the horizon of the place we lived when we were young.
Some endings don't crash. They fade gently, like memories. High Hopes was Gilmour's farewell, not to fame, but to everything before it. It closed the Division Bell in 1994, and he's called it, the best thing I've ever written. No anger, no spectacle, just acceptance. The lyrics, co-written with his wife Polly Sampson, are deeply personal. No metaphors to hide behind. It's about paths not taken, the innocence of Cambridge left behind, the ghosts of friends and moments that never came back. Gilmour's voice sounds older, wiser, maybe a little tired, but peaceful. That slide guitar solo doesn't soar upward like, comfortably numb. It descends inward, slow and deliberate, like someone tracing the edges of their past. When he plays it live, it's always the closer. No improvisation, no fireworks, just truth. Audiences go silent, no phones, no cheers, just stillness. Because they know it means something. High Hopes, he said, as the anchor. It's the one I always return to. It's not about loss, it's about gratitude. The sound of someone learning to let go, and meaning it. Number 5. Wish You Were Here, the song that still hurts.
Think you can tell. Did they get you to trail?
Some songs don't fade with time, they grow heavier. Wish You Were Here isn't just a song for Pink Floyd fans. It's a song for anyone who's ever missed someone who never came back. The radio crackle, the fading guitar, it feels like a memory rebuilding itself. Waters wrote the words, but Gilmour gave them a voice that made them human. It's one of the few songs that came out exactly how we imagined, he said. No drama, no tricks, just rawness. They recorded it late at night. One take, one room, one truth. The sadness in Gilmour's voice wasn't performed. It was real. And again, fate intervened. Weeks before recording, Syd Barrett walked into Abbey Road, silent, unrecognizable. Waters cried. Gilmour couldn't speak. The ghost of their beginning, back to hear his own elegy. That moment never left him, and you can hear it in every strum. Wish You Were Here isn't just a song about Syd. It's about absence itself. That quiet pain of remembering what can't return. The solo doesn't demand your attention. It just sits with you, quietly, like grief that's learned to breathe. When Gilmour plays it live, he never plays it the same way. Sometimes whispered, sometimes roaring, but always sincere. Because this one still breaks him, softly. Do you think you can tell? That question still lingers, unanswered. And maybe that's the point. Some feelings aren't meant to resolve. They're meant to echo. 5 songs. 5 chapters of a life lived through sound. They weren't chosen because they sold the most. They were chosen because they survived. Because even now, they still mean something to him. In David Gilmour's world, greatness doesn't shout. It listens. It waits. And when it speaks, the world goes quiet. Which one do you think almost made his list, but didn't? Drop your pick in the comments. And if you want more stories from the heart of rock's legends, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next deep dive from Backstage Tales.
Running